My wife and I were at a good friend's wedding at a small to a medium-sized ski resort. It was also our first overnight trip away from our 6-month-old daughter, who got to have a sleepover with her grandparents. We had our own hotel room and were both pretty excited to let loose a little and have drinks without the requirement of staying sober and caring for our baby. My wife was especially excited because she hadn't really gotten drunk since before pregnancy. I made sure to instigate the drunken night by buying some rounds of shots, and it snowballed from there. Come to the end of the night, we make our way to our room and proceed to PTFO. Fast forward a few hours and the first thing I remember was hearing the click of the hotel room door as it closed behind me. I slowly come to my senses, still a bit drunk, and realize what happened as I look down the hotel hallway. Man, well, at least I was sleeping in my boxers this night and wasn't out there completely naked. This is when the panic set in and where the fun begins. In my half-drunk state, I decide to knock on the door in hopes that my wife would wake up and let me back in. I knocked louder and louder until I realized I was probably pissing other people in the hotel off by waking them up. My wife did not wake up. Not even a little. I was going to have to figure this one out on my own. As I didn't have anything with me except my boxers, I decided to go to the lobby and explain my situation. It was a smallish hotel where the lobby was across a gravel parking lot, so I started the trek over. It turns out that small ski hill hotels don't have front desk staff at 3 in the morning on off-season. There was a clock. This is when I learned what time it really was. As I walked closer to the front desk, I really started to worry I was going to be having a cold, sleepless night in the lobby. Luckily, there was a phone on the front desk with an emergency number on it. I called the number. After about 10 rings where my spirit depleted on each ring thinking I wasn't getting an answer, someone finally picked up. Judging by the voice, I had clearly woken the guy up. I told him that I was locked out of my room with no phone and no way back in. He was very trusting, didn't ask for my name, just room number, and proceeded to give me directions to a master keycard that I could use to get back into my room and return in the morning. The directions went something like this: go out the front door of the lobby and turn right. On the first balcony there is a flower pot, under that is a keycard. Call me back if there are any issues. Sweet, I think, I have a way back into my room. I make the trek back to my room and swipe the card, about 5 times. It doesn't work. Still screwed, getting pretty cold at this point. I walk back down to the lobby and call the number. He picks up pretty quick this time as I tell him it didn't work. He says, okay, we have one more thing to try. Go to the second balcony. Wait, do you have a light? No. He proceeds to tell me the location of a lockbox with another key in it, but that it will be hard to see because it's tucked in a dark corner and there are no lights. He gives me the code and off I go. The lockbox keypad was 2 vertical lines of buttons, so I start thinking, does it start at 0 and go left to right? Does it start at 1 having 0 at the end? Do the numbers go vertically? Anyways, after about 10 attempts of putting the code in, I gave up. Back to the front desk phone, defeated. Once I let him know I couldn't get into the lockbox, he said he would send someone up to help. I sat shivering in my boxes in the lobby for about 15 minutes before someone showed up and made me a new key for my room. To top this all off, once I got back in my room, I crawled back into bed and snuggled up nice and close to my wife because at this point I was freezing cold. Because this woke her up and transferred some of that cold to her, she was a bit mad and told me to frick off in her half-asleep voice. This was the last straw for me, so I got up and slept in the second bed in our room. She couldn't understand why I was there in the morning. I told this story to our friends in the morning and everyone had a good laugh. I was a little tired and hungover, but it made for a good story.